Okay. Well, hello everybody. Obviously we just went live, so I'm not sure anybody's actually here yet, but uh, CLC is back live. It's been a while since we've actually had a live stream, but we are back, and we are talking the return of Run Disney this week. Now, myself did not partake in this Run Disney event. I had some bigger fish to fry that weekend in New York City, but I brought a collection of fun people here to discuss the return of Run Disney and what I have to look forward to come January as I make my return to Run Disney. So first off next to me is Long Runs and Liquor, Meredith.
Hi.
Then we have Amy and Dana from the Run Eat Drink podcast.
Hello.
Hey, new friends.
And then at the bottom, the king and queen of the slackers, Lindsay and Jared.
Hi, friends.
Hello.
And can we just take a minute just to pause, Ryan, not to take over your world, but congratulations on killing it. I loved your marathon recap. Didn't you PR?
I did PR, yes.
Yay. Boom.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I would like to say that Ryan ran his full marathon much faster than I ran my half marathon. So it's all out there.
Which is awesome. So well done, sir.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Yeah, it was quite the weekend. But of course, they had some other festivities going on down in Florida, and so I got you guys together tonight to talk Run Disney. We all are Run Disney veterans at this point, and pretty much know what we're doing when it comes to Run Disney, I think. And so I wanted to see how the weekend went, what differences there were, what maybe what you found that maybe would be good for tips and tricks going forward into the Run Disney race season. So first off, let's start with when was everybody's last Run Disney race? So like how long was your Run Disney break during this pandemic? We can just go around. Meredith, you can go first if you want.
I ran all three Princess 2020. So I was at the last one and the first one.
Aww.
Wow.
I should have been at Star Wars. I remember thinking.
Us too.
I remember thinking like, oh, this is going to be like the swine flu and it's going to last like 8 days. And I remember talking to a friend saying, that's in like 3 weeks. 21-ish months later, we made the voyage back.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And for us, I believe that our
Wine and
last
Dine.
Run Disney was Wine and Dine
The
2019.
last Wine and Dine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I PR'd that race. So
Nice.
yeah. So it's good to be back. And it was the first Run Disney, was one of the first major races we ever ran. So it's very nice
Yes.
to return.
Yeah.
In this weekend, especially. So
Nice. My last one, I did the Fairy Tale Challenge in 2020 at Princess. So the last race and then the first race. But we did all 3 races this last weekend at Wine and Dine. So I missed the terrible 5K during Princess 2020. That was cold and rainy. So I was okay about that.
Well, I think you might have made up for it on this last weekend when it was weather was played a part.
Indeed. Jar Spoon.
The last thing I did was just the half Princess 2020, my first Run Disney race weekend where I didn't run everything. So it's a nice change of pace, and now I'm back to running everything.
Can we also pause and say what a dumb thing it is in Run Disney World that you have to say things like, "Oh, I just ran the half.
yeah, really.
Absolutely.
I just ran the marathon." Like, it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Just.
So let's then, I guess, dive into the expo. I know there was some changes this year. We had this thing called Expo Pass that was a thing, and obviously it seemed like less vendors, little less excitement around the expo, but it seems most people made the most of it.
So I went with Lindsay and Jar, who I met in person the last Run Disney weekend. So we've been like COVID friends. And so we've seen each other a good number of times since then, but not Run Disney weekend, still this weekend.
That is
but
true.
Expo together. There were, I will say, I don't think anybody ever asked me for my Expo pass. Did we scan in and I didn't know
Just to
it?
pick up the bib.
Yeah.
Only to pick up the
Only
bib.
to pick up the bib. That was it.
I never even used it. They asked me what my number was. It was just like I just didn't give anybody a piece of paper.
There wasn't even a line when we showed up to get in.
Yeah, there really wasn't. Not for the big expo.
No. And we rope dropped. So like there was the expected first day rope drop line, but it wasn't much more than I remember it being for other race weekends.
And I really didn't notice a difference in the external vendors. There may have been a few less, not that many. Substantially less Run Disney merch. So I'm missing a lot of things out of my collections now. For example, I keep all of these shoes.
Yeah.
And we didn't get those shoes. I like the acrylic magnets.
Didn't see a one.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a generic Run Disney 2021 shoe that my parents got for me earlier in the year. Yeah, but I didn't need it this time. But maybe marathon weekend. Listen, if I don't get a dopey shoe, I'm gonna be. Somebody's gonna hear about
what, Meredith?
Bob Chapek is gonna hear about it. Farron Kelly's getting a letter.
That's right. A strongly worded letter.
Could I get controversial about the merch for a minute?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
We got to we were talking, before we started the stream. Amy and I decided to forego heading to the merchandise area on day one.
Right.
On Friday. We didn't go until Saturday. When
True.
we went over on Saturday,
Our day one. Yeah.
our day one. We went over on Saturday, and that was midday. It was after the 5K, but Friday. Friday was the 5K.
Mhm.
So we went over on
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
And it was sparse, to say the least.
Yeah.
Sizes, there was very little left that was larger than maybe a men's medium for much of anything.
Well, there were lots of smalls.
Lots of smalls. And a lot of the merchandise almost seemed, and I hate to say this, almost seemed repurposed from just their Nightmare Before Christmas line.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the shirts actually have Nightmare Before Christmas printed on the tag as opposed to
I went and looked this up. It's a branding thing. Anything that has Nightmare Before Christmas tag has to be branded.
Oh.
It's a licensing thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uncle Tim's getting his taste. Got it.
So your metal even has it on the back.
Oh.
It does, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that answers that question. Less controversial than I thought it would be then.
It was like a ghost town in the expo when we went on Friday.
Well, I think all the merchant had been purchased by then.
Yeah.
Yes.
So pro tip, go on the first day.
They're all pros.
I know.
So they went the first day.
Yep.
I never rope dropped the first day until I met Jared, because I thought, oh, it's no big deal, but then I learned I got the pro tips. And
You do it purely for the content.
I will say, so for the most part, I thought the expo was pretty much indiscernibly different than any other year, except for wearing masks indoors. But everyone knew that was going to happen, and that there was an option to do your waiver virtually, which I found enjoyable.
Where was this?
That was the expo pass you got, is right? Like it's that.
Oh
why
yeah,
didn't you
no,
do that
like
before?
where was this 5 years ago?
Yeah,
It
You
would
know,
make sense.
Yeah, the
So-
virtual waiver was
Yeah.
great.
I thought it
liked
was
that.
great. I think it
So
made
much
things way
easier.
faster.
Yeah.
So here's the best part, though, is they printed every single participant a hard copy of their waiver. Every single participant had a hard copy of their waiver sitting over at a table.
Oh, in case they forgot it
Mm-hmm.
or
So
forgot.
you have to line up all the
Or
printers.
didn't do it, or it didn't process. There was a lot of people that theirs didn't process.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
I had a friend that she went on Friday to the expo, and she had done hers. I had actually like gone in and done it for her. I probably shouldn't say that on the air.
We're not live,
It's
right?
fine now.
You're,
This
you're
donation
now
is
banned.
done.
Bomb paycheck has crossed your name off the list.
Yep. Yeah, sure. But she had to go, and she was like, "Oh, here is my physical waiver, even though I've signed it." One thing I will say though that was different, and I'm sure I'll touch on this later. When we got to the expo, I was like, Run Disney has cut some corners with the merch, and I was expecting that based off the trends Disney has had, and I will get on this tear later. I saw it coming. The mobile checkout was clutch. So they offered mobile checkout at the expo in the Run Disney merch. That was nice. I didn't use it. They automatically uploaded your AP discount, which it was nice.
If we had
They also
bought
did
something that we could have experienced
It would
it.
have been helpful. Yes.
Yeah, but there was no line. I used the actual line, and there was no line.
Yeah, they did a great job with getting people through and having cast members all along there because we didn't wait hardly
At all.
anyone.
Y'all walked right up because I did mine, and then y'all walked right behind me.
Yeah. I will say, like, in terms of the merch they had available, I was like, oh, I always get my ornament and my little mug. But then I'm like, you know what, y'all? They put together a race weekend in like 4 months. And so kudos to them. I would have accepted like a Hanes shirt with like Run Disney and puff paint on it. And I would have dropped like $100 for that shirt if it said Wine and Dine 2021. So I hope there's a little more at Dopey, my first Dopey, especially whether or not I complete it. I'll get the I did it shirt and it'll be just like I did. But I was like, you know what? You made a race weekend for us in 4 months. Wonderful. Good job, Disney. You're great.
And I think that a lot of people I saw it today on the internet, and it really it ruffled some feathers. I tried to go back and find it, and then I thought, I'm not going to find this now because now I'm off work and now I have time to comment. So I'm going to let it go. Let it go.
Let go. Let go.
But Run Disney, I mean, yes, did they use the exact same artwork as last year and just shuffled around the distances? Yeah. But we've seen the artwork. We saw the medals for Dopey, and they're phenomenal. The 5K medals the size of my face. So it even says, please return to Mickey Mouse if found on the back. It's going to be awesome. So kudos, Run Disney. They pulled it off.
Gyrox, has been any final thoughts on the expo?
Nope.
Now they did have a couple of vendors at the expo that
Were they?
I don't know if we've seen them before. I don't know if Athletic Brewing made it there before.
Do you
at a previous event?
Do you all remember them there at all?
No, that's
Athletic Brewing
beer, right?
Athletic Brewing is a brewery that specializes in non-alcoholic beer marketed towards runners or athletes.
Yeah.
And for people
so
like myself, it is not normally.
Why would you drink that? Like, this is terrible.
Oh.
Well, for for
more.
instance, someone like myself who's almost done with his second crack at the 75 hard challenge, which involves 75 days of no alcohol,
It's
sticking
just
to a
wrong.
diet, 2-a-day workouts, and all that. it's nice to be able to have something that actually tastes like a hazy IPA or
Yes.
a golden ale,
Yeah.
and you can have it, and you're not breaking the rules. And they had a really sizable display there,
And they were just giving
and
it
they
away.
were just giving it away because they didn't want to carry the loose cans back.
Oh,
Okay.
That was pretty.
I've never seen them before, and maybe it says non-alcoholic, and I just walked
Well,
by.
I think they're a slight ABV.
Well, they have the legal disclaimer that says less than 0.5%.
Okay,
okay.
yeah. Yeah.
I walk on by unless it's 5% or more.
That's me normally.
Yes, there's nothing quite like Run Disney with a post-race beer in that plastic cup, or that plastic cup walking around the expo with that. And you couldn't do it.
And you
You
get
had to have the mask. And
you can pull it down for that. But you get the cheap refills.
yes, I mean, I can't tell you how many cups
We say
there
those
are
cups.
in this house.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, same here.
Well, they changed the cups this year. So pro tip.
Oh,
change the cups.
good to know.
And we missed.
They're now ESPN cups and not Run Disney cups.
I believe we have some of those too.
We missed.
I had to pay for those.
I'll bring you some, Ryan, because I had to get multiple.
So you think they're going to be the
so-
same cups?
I think
At
so.
Dopey?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm bringing all of them.
Wait,
that's
someone
always
told
the
me
best
about.
option. Just
I'm
bring them
not
all.
I'm not a beer drinker, so
I'll go get my cups.
I've
I'll
never
go-
seen this cup thing. Is there like a special cup? Because I might get a beer just to get a collectible cup.
I think you should.
They're actually
It's
Yes.
a reusable
they're
plastic cup
Mhm.
that normally says Disney, and sometimes like Princess, they would sometimes do a pink one,
Mhm.
and sometimes they would be like sparkly. Sometimes they'd just be clear. So there's different variations of this cup.
Yeah.
Oh,
I brought the cups for show and tell.
There you go. There you go. Right there.
These, so I've only ever had sparkle cups.
Me too.
That's all we have.
That's all we have.
That's all we have.
So this is the ESPN cup. This is my newest addition to the Powell family cupboard. And then this is the Run Disney.
That's
Edition.
what we know. Love.
Yes.
I might go to that non-alcoholic beer thing and say, please give me 1 cup and fill it up with water. And thank you. Thank you for my $10 water.
Well, I mean,
I'll drink the beer for you if they don't, Lynn.
I was
Okay.
gonna say we'll help you out.
yeah.
Friends helping
Totally.
Exactly. So, well, I guess that means we should move on into actual races. Before we get to the actual race, I did want to touch on like how was transportation this weekend. Was it normal? Any changes there?
Mm.
Jared, do you want to talk about your experience?
Ooh.
It was fine. Really, the only thing is you have to wear a mask, and I guess it was 30 minutes earlier than normal. But you just set your alarm and you're up, and there you go. But
You had a kerfluffle after the 5K.
oh
though,
yeah,
right?
after the 5K, I guess they didn't have enough buses, so we took a taxi back. Like Disney called taxis. It was like a van taxi, only like 6 people could be in it. So took that. That was a Disney first, going back to the resort like that.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a long line. They had like 15 passenger vans and then just a bunch of taxis come. But good job for them to being on top of that, not having us wait so long, because that was the rainy day.
And you didn't pay for the taxi, right? Like they just
No.
doubled you in.
Yeah, I think when we got in, the driver had us like, so where are you guys going? So
Yeah, we drove. So
We drove, but didn't we see enormous lines at one pre-COVID
at one,
at a Run
Oh,
Disney race
oh,
where we ended
yeah.
up having to take
they,
took the monorail. We walked somewhere and took the monorail.
yeah, that's not the first time that's happened to them for sure.
Yeah.
But
a Star Wars race maybe.
might have been one of the Star Wars races.
Yeah.
I think probably. I think the first light side
Dark side.
or dark side. Sorry,
Yeah.
dark side.
Yeah.
What is the driving and parking yourself situation like at a Run Disney race? Like it seems very intimidating to me.
Actually,
Not really.
it's not. This to me, I think is one of those hidden things. If you're doing the on property resort experience, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's an early wake up to get to those buses.
That is true.
And you may not want to have the full pre-race party experience. You may want to have some pre-race sleep experience.
Especially when it's cold, wet, and rainy.
Exactly. And so for us, it's kind of nice. We opt very often to drive and park because they have got the pre-race parking down to, the line tends to be long, but it moves.
Mhm.
And they're parking you quick. And then, for the 5K, it was nothing because you basically just walked over to through the parking lot to the security
Everything was at
area,
Epcot, so.
and everything's right there at Epcot. So there was no bus to deal with. And then, for 10K and half, you have to park and then bus over.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So you would have to be a little bit earlier to plan for that.
But
Now, did y'all take the
Kinda
bus or the monorail?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
We parked at Epcot, and then we took the buses from Epcot to the
Right.
start.
Oh, I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah.
Learning, growing.
Yeah, but if you drive though, then you can't. So catch a ride with somebody if you drive, because then you can be the designated drinker
Right.
Oh.
in the post race. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So-
Fun.
I will say, on the first day, I got on the bus at before I probably should have, because I was very paranoid, and it was cold and wet, so I was very soaky. But the bus driver was so kind, and I saw them there the day before. I didn't use the bus. I saw them like later in the afternoon, but they weren't utilizing they weren't picking up passengers or anything. They were whatever. And he told our whole bus, he was like, we are driving the same route every single race, so you will see me again. And that was really nice. He was like, we've practiced these routes. I know where I'm going. Like, don't stress. And don't feel like you have to be on this first bus. Because I've been in the position before where my bus has been lost.
Oh,
and
yeah.
ended up at Animal Kingdom when we were supposed to be at Magic Kingdom. And then you're like running a mile to your corral, and it's just stressful. And but he was awesome. And like the first day I was the poison apple. The second day he was like, hey, poison apple. And I was like, hey. He was great. I think they did better on transportation than they ever have. I'm not sure if everybody had that experience, but that was my experience. It was better on transportation than it's ever been.
Do you think that was maybe because there was like runners of a smaller participants weekend than maybe?
I really don't. They seem to really have it managed pretty well. There were some Magical Express buses being utilized, which was weird. But it was during that moment that I knew that we were going to be fine, because they crammed you on there with everybody that you didn't know. You had to wear a mask, which sucked. It really sucked when you got on the bus and it was soggy and wet. But, nothing like breathing in some of your own wet sweat. To be a magical experience.
The only saving grace was that with the masking, it was that a lot of people were opting to wear their mask not because they were afraid of disease. They were literally wearing it just to stay warm, the warmth of their breath to warm their face.
For sure.
100.
It was a chilly, wet morning.
Oh yeah.
For the 5K, and we were using the absolute best custom fit disposable rain ponchos that you could find on a janitorial cart at our hotel that morning. On our way out of the lobby, we literally grabbed grabbed a couple off janitorial carts.
They were very nice to
us. Are you saying you wore a garbage bag, sir?
I am saying that we wore a garbage bag.
But it was clear, so it didn't really look like one.
We might even have some photos on PhotoPass because the clear plastic let the number come through. Maybe.
Perhaps.
But genius.
I didn't take that thing off for the whole race.
No, we were freezing.
I took mine off. I had a Disney Mickey poncho, but I took it off because it would cover up my number, and I know gonna be real. I mostly do these races for the cute pictures that I can post on social media later. So okay.
Well, that's kind of a good segue right into the 5K, and it was a wet, soggy one. So let's talk about your experience running through Epcot in the rain.
Mm.
Tore a tendon in my foot, but it's fine.
No. Oh.
We're only 50 some odd days out from dopey, but you know.
I don't think I ever heard the story of like where the injury happened.
Yeah.
We were going through World Showcase, and it's Disney to have so much money. Their drainage sucks. And it was just wet, and there's a lot of people splish splashing around, and I just slipped, and I felt it in that moment where I was like, I just did something and I don't know what it is. We're very grateful it's not a detached calf muscle, which we thought it was. But we're
super painful.
We're grateful it's just a tendon. We can get those fixed. Yeah.
That's what you were. She's like, get those fixed. Get on to dopey. Let's go.
Didn't Meredith, your very first Run Disney race, didn't she do it on a broken foot or right after?
5 broken bones in my foot. So 3.
Wow.
Long runs and liquor, everybody. This is just who she is.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Beast mode activated.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Like a combination of the wet course and like there were some places where it was really dark.
Mm-hmm.
It was really dark and really kind of close quarters. So it was really kind of, I was like, I don't know, it's not like I'm going to attach a headlamp unless it's part of the costume, you know? But I'm like, well, let me get out the phone, turn on the flashlight so I can figure out where in the hell I need to step.
Yeah, the main areas that were problematic, I think, were the parts. And for those that are listening or watching that may not know, the race starts in the parking lot. You do kind of a victory lap around the parking lot, and then you come in to the World Showcase right in between Mexico and China.
Norway.
Thank you. And there's a gate there, and it's those areas between the countries where they would weave us in and out of the World Showcase that they would have.
That's where it would be.
They were relying on the ambient light of the World Showcase, and they really needed to have maybe a light on a tripod just in that area to kind of illuminate your footpath as you made that transition.
I'm not coordinated, so I'm thinking you all are fine, but I was not coordinated. So I couldn't see where I was going at all.
My sheet lit up, so I was okay.
It's true.
There you go.
He had light up. So if you were running near Jared, you would have been fine. He would have lit the way for you.
Be faster.
Or we need costumes with built-in lighting.
Yes. Yes.
Stay tuned.
Run near Jared.
Marathon weekend.
So did anyone else run? I know Jared did. 2019 Lightside Star Wars weekends.
Rival run.
Rival run. Sorry.
Dagobah 5K.
So that 5K, I think was wetter. That 5K was like a storm. Jared, what do you think?
My camera was more wet during this 5K than the other one. It downpoured before we ran the Dagobah 5K, but I think I haven't watched that video in a while, but compared to the footage I have for the moist 5K, I think it was wetter this one.
This one was wetter.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the time of running.
Yes.
Now that I'm thinking of it, so that victory lap around the parking lot, I'm always in the back of the bus. So every time I do that victory lap for a 5K, there are 5K finishers cheering for me as I start the race, going, yay, you. But I have to say the 5K finishers this time around look pretty miserable because they were just having to stand in the rain waiting for people like me to start walking so they could get their bus.
Yeah, I mean the temperature. This was the trailing edge or the leading edge of the cold front that was coming through, and I know we had temperatures in the low 50s that morning, plus the rain, plus the wind was whipping. I mean, it was breezy the entire time. So wind chill factor was an issue for us. Friends of ours that were up in Savannah and listeners of the show for us that were up in Savannah for the rock and roll, they ended up canceling the full marathon for the rock and roll because of fears of hypothermia.
Yeah.
So we only got we got the Diet Coke version of the cold front. They got the full version.
Dang.
Here's what won't happen to me during a full marathon is I probably won't ever get hypothermia because I'll probably never get that hot. It's to like my body temperature to drop that quickly.
I will not be working that hard.
I'd be like, oh, this is nice.
Me too.
Or we'll be wearing ridiculous costumes that are
also,
as Jared once said, he knew that he was never going to be comfortable at any point during the weekend.
But I was.
Costumes or his costumes. Mine were kind of fine by the end, but it will. The costuming will protect us from the elements, maybe.
So what did they like? How was? I obviously rain kind of put a damper on things, but how was like pre and post race like entertainment or like how the setup was compared to previous years?
So there was the magic mirror and the evil queen's chair were the two props. There were no characters. Still hella lines. The lines did not deter people.
Not at all.
I got in line with one of the slackers for the magic mirror. Thank you, M to the CLC. And took our picture. We still waited 45 minutes for that one before we got in the corrals.
Wow.
So it was still a long line. There was no way we could have waited for the queen's chair. I did the queen's chair. I was soaked by the end. The picture sucks because they put a poncho over the camera. So if I would have known how much it was going to suck, I wouldn't have waited and gotten more wet. But I now have that picture in my documents for, future reference. They did the Nautilus and what else was there at the about 10K and a half.
It was nice to see the Nautilus come back. A little slice of old historical Disney.
Yeah, it was nice.
From 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah.
I did not for the 10K. We did not even make it over to the stage because it was so cold, and we found a light running off a generator that was emitting some heat. So we just found that light and huddled not nearly 3 feet apart from each other.
Meredith, you had a blanket that morning, and I was going to offer you, I don't know, tens of dollars for
$10 for every one of your viewers, Jared.
Literally tens.
Well, and I did bring a blanket, and I ran with it. I ran as Captain Hook, and I ran with it like wrapped around my neck. I like tied it because I was so cold. And probably about it was right before mile 4 where you make the loop to go into studios. I wrapped myself up in it, and I realized I'm so cold because this is soaking wet. It absorbed all of the water. So I ditched that. I got some girl was like, that is so rude to litter. And I was like, it is so rude that this is the weather.
That's the what?
I know. I was like, you obviously before. I don't know that it's throwaway, Lindsay. It's not biodegradable.
No. Like people throw away their their hoodies and their pants.
Yes.
And of course.
Well, she was very upset that I was polluting the Disney place.
No.
Oh, goodness.
But I did ride by there, and it was no longer on the route. So I assume someone took care of it.
You can feel good about that. You're
like,
good.
But I think that's probably the coldest I've ever been at a race. And I want to say that with like, I don't ever want to be that cold again because I'm afraid that like I'll eat my words come dopey. But the wind was so hard and it was like the rain was just enough that like the wind would blow and it would feel like it was cutting across your cheeks.
Yeah.
I still have chapped lips from the situation. My hat was destroyed in the process, but
the pictures are awesome.
The pictures are awesome, dang it.
And it was great to hear Carissa again.
Yeah, the pre-race entertainment I thought was absolutely back to par. You know, they had video content to show you on screen. They were playing music. They were, you know, out there entertaining people, which Carissa, it really felt like they hadn't missed a beat. You know, it wasn't like she had to get back in the swing of things.
No.
And people in the corrals were very comfortable in this post-pandemic world with being close to one another because everyone was loving the body heat.
Yeah.
In the corrals. Everyone, mask or no mask.
Well, where we were.
Yeah, in our corral.
Or
what
do you call it? The
S4 or S2.
Wave.
Yeah. We were S2 for the 5K.
Yeah. Speaking of that, what did you guys think of the whole S system?
Their waves.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Their corrals with waves.
It's a way for them to bring out fewer of those big lanterns with the letters on them. I guess it saves them some setup. It's just waves. There's no real difference.
There's less of them. There's less of them.
Yeah.
There's less of them.
I
don't think they're gonna be able to get away with that with Dopey though.
No way.
One of our esteemed slackers, the J Crows, I think pointed out that was some genius like rebranding. Like instead of saying corrals, which sounds like a little less responsible in terms of pandemic spread, starting groups sounds like it is more. And there are other races we've done where they have like actual true starting groups where you like when your starting group is called, you walk to the start line and you start running. But it was absolutely not at all different. There might have been a little more space in my starting group, which was just a corral, but we were all huddled together because we were cold.
I've never been that close to anybody as I was in these starting groups, even though I thought and that may have been because I was with slackers and there were people I knew. And so we we were under one very tiny blanket. They were so small. I didn't think they were any different. I do think that they are a way for them to stop having to answer so many questions about why is so-and-so in corral, whatever. I think it was a good way for them to say okay, all of these people that had proof of times can go and start wave 1 because I don't have a proof of time.
Or Club Run Disney.
And that Club Run Disney, I think they got bumped up to maybe start 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was maybe the back half of people that had a start wave time.
Mm-hmm.
And then people that didn't have a proof of time were maybe 3 and 4. I don't know that that's to be true, just kind of based off what I've heard. But I know somebody said that there was 5 start waves per star, or 5 goes.
5
Wait.
waves per
Yeah,
start.
wave.
5 waves in the start.
Yeah, so there were a
In one
total of
start.
20 for the 10K, I know.
Because they never really announced, hey there, start group 3 that I heard. And I was always in the back corral all the time.
Yeah.
Or start group.
Yes.
But that went very smooth. I don't know, they deployed their Disney ninjas into the group, and all of a sudden there's a ribbon across the group separating the start wave, and you're like, where did these people come from, and where did they get that Mylar ribbon? I just all of a sudden they were there.
There they are.
Yeah.
Right behind us.
So that was very seamless.
Yeah.
Last 2 races, I didn't know whether we were starting or not.
Yeah.
Meredith
It's
in
gonna
the
be yes,
10K.
yes.
We're like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess we're starting now.
Well, there was one time MK looked at me and she's like, are we starting? And I was like, there's no way, MK. We're way far back. And then all of a sudden I was like, start your watch. She was like,
Well, I wasn't sure if we were starting because apparently where they did cut budgets was the fireworks at the start line, because I think it was just two guys with a Roman candle up there on top of the stage, and they were only letting one ball go off from the Roman candle.
That's true. I didn't even think of that
pretty
until
anemic.
just now.
That's the.
You think it was budget, or do you think it was weather?
They have. No, that weather's not enough to slow down fireworks. Okay. That was just.
Oh well, the fireworks were pretty good later.
Yeah.
I will say, if Disney was gonna cut a budget, I didn't notice that. So if Disney was gonna cut a budget somewhere, I'm glad they cut it there with something that I didn't notice.
That's what I'm here for. Like, notice the things nobody else will.
Yeah.
There were more fireworks as the races progressed. I remember after starting, maybe it was a 10K, the fireworks that shot off, it sounded like gunfire. So I think we all looked back like, oh, it's just fireworks.
What happened?
I will say you could hear them for a good distance, because I remember getting to mile 1 of the half and being like, well, at least I've got 16 minutes on the balloon lady. Like, if that was the last one I heard, at least I've got 16 minutes on them.
Yeah.
What about characters? Obviously, weather, I'm sure, played a part in that. But what characters on course?
They did a phenomenal job. In my opinion. I'm not going to speak for everybody. The 5K, they were a little dicey. And the 10K because of the weather. I know I saw the Evil Queen go twice, like having to leave twice because of a torrential downpour. But the half, I don't know if y'all noticed this during the half, they were organized in sets of 2. So there was Kronk and Yzma, like back to back. There was Smee and Hook back to back, and they were almost like a mile and a half, or a half mile to about a third of 3/4 of a mile apart. Pretty much the whole course, it was back to back. You saw Pain and Panic and Hades right there together almost. So if you think about how it was set up, it was really good. You couldn't hug them, but I wasn't expecting to. But I was expecting, like, do y'all remember Weird Ray for Star Wars a few years ago? Ray was standing up on a stage.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it was weird. And then Weird Pocahontas was standing on That's what that is the expectation I went in with. So I think it was I knew I wasn't going to be running up to hug a character because I can't do that in the park yet.
Right.
I won't be running up to hug a character to run Disney race until I can run up and hug them at the park. Right. So I had an adjusted expectation and they exceeded it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think that for what they offered, they did a really nice job with it. We didn't do the half. We did the 5K and the 10K. So we're calling that the charcuterie challenge, since Disney doesn't have a special medal for people who don't do the half and only do the shorter races. But for the 5K, it was a nice mix of live action characters that you could get a photo near. And they also had a couple of displays that were just static displays, like dioramas you could stand in to pose as well, which I thought was kind of a nice alternative, and again, not having something that, relies on having a character there, and they're taking that extra step to be cautious. I understand it, and I agree. They're not going to let you hug a character until
you would do it in the park.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was perfect.
So I've never done a character stop in my entire Run Disney career. I know. Okay, but it's because I'm slow. There it is.
We're doing at least the 5 and 10K
We're
together.
with you.
Yeah, we are the same.
But I for the marathon, for example, I had 5 minutes on the balloon ladies. So I don't stop. Anyway, the point is I've never done one, so I didn't notice the difference. But I wonder if the backdrops, especially the Lotsa backdrop during the 5K, I wonder if he wasn't there because of the rain.
He was there. I have a picture with him.
Oh, okay. During the 5K? Oh,
I was one of the last people that got a picture with him. I mean, like I saw him being taken away.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, and I take back what I said. I thought that they were just offering that as an option for people to take photos, and I didn't see the character there at all.
Jared has made goes for 100% character stops as often as he can. Jared, did you miss hugging people?
Well, we did not get 100% on the 5K. We missed Sean Yu in China. I don't think he was out. We didn't see him, but I don't think I ever hugged a character on a Run Disney course in a park. Yes, I did hug Lotso before during a Halloween party. He is very huggable, even though he's a villain. But I guess the closest I've Rapunzel. She makes you, do this and grabs your arm. So I guess that's the closest hug I've gotten to a character. But like you can still get pretty close to the characters with the little borders they have. It's like there's not much space there. But they did do some pretty creative things on like Frollo around Ratatouille. They had it where Aurora usually is, and then it was kind of a weird area to put it, but it still worked.
But there was like a weird tree between the two of you, but you could have like seductively like reached over and grabbed him if you wanted to. It was weird.
Isn't he a priest? Or something?
Oh,
Wait, no. Frollo is not a priest.
I think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's
a bad guy, but I think he might be a bad priest.
There's plenty of them. Woods are full of them. I'm just saying.
Anyway, don't seduce the characters, Meredith.
I don't know. I just felt like I could like.
That's a totally different kind of Disney blog.
I felt like I could reach over and like as long as I put my fingers out,
Aren't you so happy you invited us, Ryan?
Ryan is like, oh my
god. So it's okay. Yeah.
Can I? Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I'm just glad that I'm not the only. Apparently, a lot of people didn't realize there were supposed to be characters at those backdrops, and they were just taking photos in the backdrops. And I was like, that's a pretty good idea. And
they did have them set up to where, like, if you didn't, like, it said like Andy's away, the toys are at play on the episode. So there were. It was kind of the cauldron and I didn't catch the evil queen. Or the old witch or whatever.
Yeah.
But you could still get your picture made.
I got a photo. I didn't get a photo with her. I got a photo of her.
Yes.
And I got the old evil queen, and I got the young. Where was it? Maleficent. On the 10K.
Maleficent was on the 10K.
Maleficent was on the 10K. I got her. But yeah, I didn't realize that was what they were allowing me to do.
I just left you. So I was like, I can't stop. Where are the balloon ladies?
I will say on the topic of character stops / cool effects, I would like to mention the Villain's Forest, which, oh my God, that was the coolest thing. Like it probably took some Imagineer 7 minutes to whip up, but it has brought me a lifetime of joy. And I hope that is at every Disney race from here on out.
Is that new?
It's new. We've never done this before.
Oh, okay, because that was cool. That was really cool.
There were bubbles and smoke and cauldron and snakes, and it was so cool. And it was on this little back road between Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom, so it was really, really dark.
Oh, I'm talking about different things.
And it made those 4 miles, it's 4 miles, I think.
That's the area. That's the Battle of Endor during the Star Wars races.
Yes. Yeah, Endor.
Yeah,
so they do it as Endor during Star Wars. They had done it as like a big Be Our Guest party during Wine and Dines, but I liked that it was something new. It was
amazing. There were it was like a light show. I loved the bubble. I know I keep going back to the bubbles.
The bubbles.
Oh my God, man! I ran and just was popping, living my best life.
It was actually Jared. It was Jared with his Frozen 2 bubbles. Blowing them.
Yes.
Now I know I'm just going to show up and bring you some bubbles the next time.
That's all that I really need.
FYI, the frozen 2 bubbles smell great and highly
It's
recommend.
great in here.
Yeah, it smells. I'm like excited to go to that bathroom later and just waft in the smells.
Jared, I got a for Christmas. Frozen 2 bubbles.
I know. I should have sat in the tub like when we got home. This is kind of nice, just to get the legs and body in it. It's not that hot anymore, so I may need to warm it up a little bit, but something I should have done days ago.
I keep the house cold.
So, do you guys? Was there like races on par? What was like? Did you feel the character, like number of characters were?
I thought especially for the half, they were very on par. I don't think that it's a fair comparison when you're looking at pouring down rain for the 5K and 10K. Because I don't know what would have been possible, because there were things that I like after the fact. I saw like people were saying, oh, I saw so-and-so. I never saw them because I hit it when it was pouring or whatever. So I don't know, but I do think I hit a majority, or at least saw a majority of the characters that were out, because we had fairly decent weather for the 5 or the half. So I think I saw everybody that was out, and I would say just as many, maybe one or two more than what we usually see during a half.
Yeah, it seems like there are more, because for the half courses, the Wine and Dine and Star Wars ones, I don't particularly like to stop in the first 4 miles because the lines are long, and it seemed like I skipped a lot more than normal. And then the first one I stopped at was in Animal Kingdom. We're just outside, just after Little Sebastian.
I didn't see Little Sebastian.
Maybe they're donkeys, but everyone was calling them Little Sebastian.
They were donkeys. Okay, yes. Yes, so they had the petting zoo out.
Donkeys outside of Animal Kingdom, yeah.
Jared pointed out, and I noticed this too, those wee little donkeys didn't look like they were quite ready for the hordes of people. They looked like they needed a little, like, I don't know, a hug or a benzo.
I thought it was a great way to promote Planet Watch and to divert crowds, because we're about to have one less thing to go to in Animal Kingdom.
And I don't remember them ever doing that they always have the animals out for the marathon.
Yes.
But I don't remember ever them doing that for Wine and Dine.
Okay, good to know. I can't get picked up before Animal Kingdom because I want to pet them again.
No, I've never seen him for a Wine and Dine before, or any other, aside from marathon.
I was going to say, I don't think that we, at least for the 5K and the 10K, we didn't find it to be lacking in characters. For the 10K, there were stretches where we thought it was a little quiet. And that's because normally in good weather conditions, you would have more DJs with their setups, and the more screens, and the high school marching bands, which were missing.
I miss those so much.
I mean, it sounds kind of funny, to say that that's something that you miss, but the high school, the local high schools playing, some Disney classics and kind of helping cheer you on. It's kind of nice to hear. And the absence of that, and the first time that I really noticed it was that stretch that takes you out by the Speedway gas station. When you round that curve, you normally come across that first curve right past the Speedway is where the high school marching bands normally are. Dead silence. And I was like, this is weird in that stretch. And I thought, man, I hope that's not the way the rest of this goes. But fortunately it wasn't, but it was just, tempered expectations. Again, weather was a major player or contributing factor to this particular experience.
Yeah.
Oh, now I missed the show choir. I didn't miss it till you said that.
The choir.
They're not usually at Wine and Dine. They're usually only Princess and Marathon.
Yeah.
Oh, the choir. Yeah.
Right. Okay. We can hold on to that hope.
I hope they're there for
Honey, if a show choir ain't whistling me across the finish line of the marathon, we're gonna have problems. Another strongly worded letter coming your way, Sharon Kelly. I want my magnet, I want my ornament, and I want my show choir, dang it.
right here, right now, I am promising you, Meredith, if I happen to be ahead of you, which is definitely not a guarantee, Jared is probably going to start before me. Whoever gets to the show choir place first and they're not there, I will wait for you
Just
to
turn
arrive.
around. Just turn around. Tell me to stop. Just stop while you're ahead.
I'll start singing "Go the Distance" for you.
Oh, thank you.
Make you cry.
Thank
and then
you.
we'll finish together. So I'm gonna clap.
You know, I will say another thing I missed was the people in the parks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say this though, the cast members, all of the cast members who were there to either direct us to step around something or to welcome us into a certain section, where whatever reason they were there, they were so excited and they were saying, welcome back, we're so happy to have you, we're so proud of you. I can't tell you how many times I heard we're so proud of you in such a genuine way, and it was amazing. And I imagine for the half you heard that a whole lot more and saw that a whole lot more when you were in the parks. It was awesome.
I did run by one dude who totally made that moment in my mile running out of Animal Kingdom. There were guests starting to come into the park, and they were in that little their corral waiting for an opportunity to cross into the entrance.
Oh yeah.
You mean their starting group for the park?
Their starting group. Sorry, thank you. I apologize. I don't
Which
wanna
way
get-
were they in? Which way were they going to be in?
I think they were in starting group 1. It was early, but there was one guy who was just like didn't know there were races at Run Disney, and he's like, "Look at you guys, you're amazing!" And I was like, "Oh!" And it was so sincere. It was like you could tell he was just totally in awe. And whoever you are, stranger in the world, that made my whole day.
Stranger, we're proud of you.
And hats off to Run Disney's training program, where they have finally trained the cast members that are manning their posts behind Tower of Terror during the 10K to not say the phrase "You're almost there." They used to do
because you aren't,
because you're not almost there.
No,
When you get to the Tower of Terror, and they, without fail, almost always say it right there. And this time they didn't.
they held back. It's okay.
I didn't notice that, but yeah.
I did notice in Animal Kingdom, somebody said, "You're almost halfway there." And I was like, thank you for your sheer honesty. Thank you. I will stop at your bathroom. Thank you. For your honesty, I'm going to go to your bathroom.
If someone tells me I'm almost there more than a mile and a half away, it gets me like, no, I'm not.
That is wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
But I do like the Animal Kingdom restrooms for the race.
True.
Just saying.
Accurate. Favorite place to stop.
What's everyone's favorite place to pee?
Well, now you know mine is Animal Kingdom.
I like the Dino Land toilets, personally.
They're good. Yeah.
Because people stop in Pandora, which gets so backed up. People stop in Africa, which also gets backed up. But there's a secret toilet right before you go over them train tracks, going into Animal Kingdom. On the right, there's a keeper right there. He's like a zookeeper, but there's toilets back there.
Okay, did you see that they were blocking those off this time, though?
I saw a line.
Well, I didn't use them. One of my friends used them.
Oh, okay. When I was there were cast members blocking people from going into that one because I had that one in my sight. And
so she used that one, and I was like, I can hold it. And then I got to almost to Everest, and there was a line, and I was like, nope, not wait. I don't have that kind of time to wait. I'll wait till I get to Dino Land. And I went off to Hester and Chester's toilets, Dino toilets.
Dino Land's kind of like the best kept secret there.
Sure is.
My favorite place to pee is also in Animal Kingdom. There's a hidden companion restroom when you're going out of Pandora. So after you turn, like you've gone by Flight of Passage and you turn left, off near Navi River Journey, there's a hidden companion restroom there. And you can probably just walk right into that or just wait for one person. And that's my favorite place.
Companion restrooms for the win. Yes.
But then how do you talk to your friends, Lindsay? How do you talk to your friends on the toilet?
I run by myself because I run slow.
We'll run together.
Just strike up a random conversation. You're there with 10,000 of your best friends.
The only reason I'm not alone is because you slow down to stay with me.
Well, we don't go to the restroom together, though.
Well, that's true, but there are companion restrooms.
I was gonna say,
as
you
we
can
have
do
learned.
when the Tower of Terror 10 miler was still a thing, here's a companion restroom story.
Oh God.
Most people who ever did you guys ever run that one? Tower of Terror
Anybody?
10 miler?
No.
Oh, Big Lad was so humid.
That race historically was one of the
Disgusting.
hottest and most humid that they ever had at any of the Disney events. And people who are not from Florida or from the area don't realize that at that time of year, it starts out, in the 80s and the humidity is like 78 to 80 something percent humidity. And then it climbs as the night goes on. So every year after year at that race, more and more people were falling out from heat exhaustion, heat sickness. And that includes this one right here.
It was
She didn't
disgusting.
fall out, but she would get,
I got to the end.
leg cramping and then nausea. And then we're at the Tower of Terror. She's like, I am not feeling good. I'm sick. I got to go to a bathroom. So I am searching, like, where can we get her into a restroom? Because I know this is about to go south quickly. There's a line in the women's restroom. There's too many men in the men's restroom right outside of the Tower of Terror, and the companion restroom's open. So I hold it for him, like, quick, get in here. I shut her in, and she had to regain composure for post heat sickness.
That was bad.
Oh my God.
That was bad.
Are y'all planning to do Tower of Terror 10 miler this year?
We're upset that it's not a nighttime race.
I think I'm okay with it not being a nighttime race.
Yeah, especially after that glowing recommendation of the nighttime race.
And I
At
kind of
least
wanted
Everest
to
is a nighttime
reclaim
race.
it because it's at a different time of the year.
We met that one. That one may happen. We are super excited that they're bringing back the Expedition Everest 5K, and that one is a nighttime race.
I love
Yep.
that.
We
Favorite.
religiously did that one. It's one of the best Run Disney medals that they ever did.
I love that compass.
Functioning compass medal.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Add to cart.
Take my money, Disney.
Absolutely.
Yep. And it's like obviously it's not. You're doing a challenge for all races versus just like a 10K and a half challenge.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that the Taste Around the World also has a challenge component of tasting snacks from around the world. Like maybe I could taste 10 snacks instead of running 10.
Do you know this to be true, or are you hoping for this?
No, it's just a hope. It's just.
I'll be so excited.
Your
We're the
hope.
Run, Eat, Drink podcast. So
It's y'all's challenge.
yeah.
If not, we'll host your own. We'll host Jar and Lynn's have experience in hosting Run Slacker event. So you could host your very own Run to Each Food Booth event.
I love it.
Oh, we need to do that.
Jar
Totally
will even help you make tough paint shirts.
Oh,
True.
totally.
Jar
Kinda
always has to finish the race with some food item, if possible, because he has some pretty epic finish line pictures from it.
Food, beverage.
Failed this last time, but
I was going to say,
Whoa,
did
your shirt open. Oh, but you
Help
tried to
it.
mobile order.
we were
Did that
mobile
fail?
ordering from Boardwalk Bakery. It was
That's
taking
right.
too long because I was with my sibling and I was like, if we see Lynn's come by, we gotta go. Who comes up? Lynn's comes by, and then we're still waiting. If we see Meredith come by, we gotta go. Who comes by? Meredith. I'm like, okay, we gotta go. Oh,
You're like, oh,
Not
we
finishing
can't let
with-
cripple beat us. Okay.
not
No, they
finishing
just
with
knew
the
they had
butter
like a
butter
45-minute head start on us, or me. So that's like
They had a same 40.45 second
Oh,
Head-
yeah.
We
Actually,
started
you
the
guys only have
exact
like a 25-minute head start on me, I think. But anyway, you had to abandon your food, which is sad.
Yes,
That is
will-
sad.
That is
will
sad.
not
Boardwalk
happen.
Bakery is absolutely one of my
What did you
favorites.
order from Boardwalk Bakery?
A cupcake and a brownie.
And it was taken so. Why would it?
Yes.
Ah!
I was wanting a salad, but there's no grab and go.
Is a jar, ox, and spoon.
I don't know. I
hamburger.
just spoiled the future finish line picture
Okay.
right now. So yeah, marathon, anything goes, everything's open. It's gonna be 1 o'clock by the time I hit World Showcase.
There you go. You can get it all.
And
Come
I'm just
across the
gonna
line with a
shamelessly
margarita.
plug one of his videos. All of his videos are amazing. She says without any bias whatsoever. But Jared's Marathon 2020 recap. His finish line food is, I think, one of the most epic finish line foods and pictures ever. So I highly encourage you to look at that. Look at it, a video. That's how my mom says she watches video. I looked at this movie on a television screen.
So,
Yeah.
how did everybody celebrate their accomplishments this wine and dine weekend?
Took a nap.
Yeah, I was
Awesome.
more tired. Usually I can have a little more rally, but I was super celebratory, having a breakfast sandwich and then sleeping for a real long time, I think. Did we?
I will say, I don't think, and I don't know if it's that. For a long time, I would felt like I was in 3-course challenge shape, where I could roll out the bed and do a 3-day weekend, and not really have to train. I felt like I had this like base trained pace that also included me going to the parks. I quickly learned that among the COVID, I lost that level of training, which is not serving me too well going into Dopey, but glad that we had wine and dine as a training run.
Hello, Kunkel.
We love Kunkel.
This is really cool.
And everyone else, Bradley.
We're in the future right now. Kunkel wrote a comment.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Hi.
Ryan's like, I'm never inviting Lindsay again.
It's like, what in the world? I slept a lot, and then the post race party was okay. I didn't stay super long, so I'm not gonna give it like, I'm not gonna criticize or anything. But I was ready for people to leave.
We didn't see you during the party.
Yeah, I know, because I went back to bed.
So did M to the K. She was like, I'm over this.
I saw MK, I think. I saw MK.
She was
Maybe
there
on her
for.
way out.
Yeah,
I saw MK and I saw Captain.
Yeah, she left. She left after Stargate, and then she left. Yeah.
Stargate is what we call. Is it called Harmonious?
Yep.
Yeah.
Harmonious. It's Stargate. And it's awesome.
I just call it Lake Tacos.
I'll be
Like tacos. That is exactly what that looks like now.
They're tacos.
Yeah.
Like,
Interesting.
And they don't photograph well in the pre-dawn hours. Even if they have something on the screens, they're too bright for your camera to distinguish what's on them. Because they had the big 50th anniversary thing up there, couldn't make it out in the photos.
Oh.
Kunkel,
Not
I have
laughing
a
at you.
boyfriend.
Kunkel
It's
something funny
Prolo.
again.
Oh, he's a judge. He's not a priest. He makes him a lot sexier, guys. I'm telling you. It's the
Less likely to be
cheekbones
struck
for
by
me.
lightning.
Yeah.
The cheekbones.
You like the high cheekbones. All right. There you go. Okay, I'm just going to stop. The end. How did we celebrate, Jared?
We went to Shula's that night.
Shula's.
Right.
Y'all did.
Oh
Wait, have you been to Shula's?
no.
Okay. So our Shula's origin story is that Jared and I went to see Happily Ever After one last time, like a few days before it ended. So the last weekend of September. We got off our plane and we were staying at the Dolphin, and we're like, oh, it's like 10 o'clock at night, but we're hungry, but we don't want to eat a big dinner. So let's just go get some like chips from the gift shop. And the gift shop was closed. And so then we were in the elevator bank and we turned to the right and we're like, oh, that smells really good. So instead of chips, we had like a 2-course steakhouse dinner
At 10 p.m.
And we're from Texas. So the steak was incredible. And we
Yeah,
really good.
There's a ribeye. I always get ribeye.
Oh,
And then like the waitress, I said, like, I'm from Texas. Is a ribeye good? And she was like, the New York strip is the best cut of meat. So I was like, okay, I'll get that. I trust you on this. And then like I cut into it, eat it. I'm like, yeah, this is a very good steak. So
it's beautiful.
We ate there twice this last trip and got the strip both times. The J. Crow's is also a ribeye connoisseur. He got that and was very pleased with it too. So endorsement implied, Shula's.
it's like the
You know it's
third
good.
time we've heard Shula's is the place to
Yeah.
Well, and Shula's was always one of those that, like, I'm in MDE looking for reservations. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go there. They have reservations every 15 minutes. That's not a good sign. Like Rick's Sports Bar, like that's whatever that is. I'm not going there. But guys, Megan, I'm glad you like Shula's too. But Shula's.
go. Oh,
We had that,
Yeah.
and then
Really good bread, really good sides.
really good
The-
swordfish.
Somebody today posted that Shula's has the best bread service on property. I saw that today.
Shut your
The-
mouth, Sanaa. Come on.
I heard it. No, it said specifically it beats Sanaa.
You know,
It
if you
makes
bring
me feel
all the sauces to Shula's, and then like the butter is good at Shula's. I like what Yachtsman does with the roasted garlic and butter.
yes.
You're
Agreed.
talking my
Yes,
language
yes,
right
yes.
You
there.
combine all
I
kinds of things like that. Like I think
love
the sourdough bread that comes out at Shula's is hot and very delicious, and it's hard to not eat too much of that to take room from your steak.
You have
I
to
like
have
the
it.
ale and compass bread rolls too, with the like
Yes,
pimento
yes.
cheese and the.
I had
onion
never
rye.
been there until January, and Ryan was like, I said something. I was like, I'm at Beach Club. What should I go get? And he was like, go get bread service. And I had bread service for dinner at Ellen Compass, and it was bomb.
Go there all the time. And
But y'all, like these two at the bottom, introduced me to the goodness that is the Liberty Tree Tavern, and I had never had it, and I was a little hesitant. But these two have never steered me wrong in the ways of foods. Holy crap! I was pleasantly surprised, and I hope that we're doing it again at Marathon Weekend.
We are.
Excellent. Let me know.
Check
So I
your
can put on
ME.
a friend of mine from work loves Liberty Tree Tavern. So
Is it hard that we're talking about bread so much while you're doing 75 hard?
no, see, that's part of it. I have to be able to endure it. This is all about mental toughness
Okay.
more so than like the physical stuff or dieting or anything like that. That said, we have a standing reservation right now for Charlie Steakhouse in Tampa the weekend or the day after I get off this. So we are looking very forward to our first meat-based meal, and well, for
Because
she jumped back on this wagon.
I already finished that challenge, and then he said, "Stay on it with me, so I can."
I didn't
finish
say
it."
stay on it
You
with
did
me.
too.
No. That part, that is what we call fiction for anyone who's listening.
No, it's true. I said I would do it with you,
She's a trooper. She's not wanting to take credit for it.
but I want a ribeye. I've been trolling in my Disney experience looking for a Yachtsman reservation, but perhaps we should be looking for Shula's.
I've never been to Yachtsman personally, which is such a crying shame for
It's
all of
glorious.
my many years, because I could never get a reservation.
It's so
But-
hard.
Jared, you have been to both now multiple
Yes,
times.
I've not had a yachts. I've had many Yachtsman ribeyes. I've not had a ribeye from Shula's. My parents had a ribeye from Shula's, and they said it was fine. So like they weren't raving about it, but so right now I think if you're gonna ask me what the best ribeye on property is, I would say it's Yachtsman.
Better than Le Cellier.
Yes.
No. Okay.
Oh.
I like the little maple sauce they have on the Le Cellier. I've only had the ribeye from Le Cellier once, but I've had the Yachtsman one. Like,
See,
even
I think that the sides at Yachtsman add a little. I mean, the sides at Le Cellier add a little something for me.
Oh, well, they are good.
They are really
They're
good.
really good. I don't know what it is. It's also like the fact that I can like walk out and be in the World Showcase. I think like adds a factor for
you
me.
can walk out of Yachtsman and be at Beaches and Cream.
You're right.
That's
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
I think I had some bites of Mr. Spoon's New York strip, and that is definitely better than any steak I've ever had at Le Cellier.
Wow.
Like, and it's a New York strip. Like, both of us, when she said you should try the New York strip, we're like, you serious?
Really? Really?
No one orders New York strip, but I haven't, like I said, I haven't been to Yachtsman. I don't know what other Disney steakhouses I've been to, but it's definitely.
I've had really good pieces of steak at Tiffin's.
Ooh.
Flying Fish also.
Oh yeah.
Please open back up Flying Fish.
Sad.
And yeah. But I
What did
think
y'all do at Steakhouse 71?
Ooh.
We had breakfast.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I had
That was delicious.
And the last time we were at Ale and Compass, we did their brunch, which was phenomenal.
Mhm.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
we
Yeah,
went
like
there
Compass.
once, and Jared, didn't you order an omelet or something with a side of the full waffle entree?
It was like chocolate.
Side of the full entree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man after my own heart.
Mhm.
We usually eat.
Love that.
If you look at our table, there's usually at least 3 entrees for 2 of us, and I'm gonna.
That's the way.
There's
This is the way.
This is
another
the way.
video he has, Foodapalooza Part 2, where we eat dinner for 5 for 2 at Morimoto.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's
the,
gonna be the end of this
the
challenge. for
ribs
us.
at Morimoto.
Oh, God.
Oh yes.
Those are magic.
Yeah.
Ribs.
And Jared,
It's like-
what do you say when you go to Morimoto about the duck?
What? The duck.
Yeah.
Peking duck for
Yeah.
2 for 1, which I've done a couple times. It's for 2, but
It's for one.
before I met Lynn's, like if I'm just there with the J Crows, I'm ordering the duck. He's ordering some ramen, and like I got to eat most of the duck.
I still want to do Peking duck for 4 for 2 because that's still that's not a lot of duck. We could totally demolish 2 plates of it.
Right now, that's our pre-marathon reservation. So
Ooh.
I will
Let's do it.
unapologetically say that if I'm like lifting weights, I'll eat an entire rotisserie chicken by myself. I could put down a Peking duck.
yeah,
Yeah.
If the owner of the CLC Keels, she did Citricos after it reopened in
Ooh.
July, and said the duck there is amazing. So if you need another duck dish,
Correct.
Citricos.
Yes.
Hmm.
I do love me some duck.
I've
So
not eaten at Citricos.
neither have
No, we
I.
haven't
Oh,
We
you-
haven't either.
I think I ate there a couple of years ago. It was okay. I've heard good things though.
See,
Yeah.
we're having our post race celebration through them.
Yeah, I mean, after the race, we did celebrate. We got to meet up. In fact, Meg's been commenting
Chat.
below. We got
Yeah.
to meet up with her and Brian.
Yeah.
We also get to meet up with another friend of ours who's a fellow runner, and we tasted our way around the World Showcase with the plant-based options that they had. Again, for me, and that's kind of what we're featuring on the show. Last week's episode talked about plant-based options at the Food and Wine Festival. This week will as well.
cool.
And they actually
can't
have
wait to have
some
our ribeyes.
really good options that even if you're not a plant-based eater, you wouldn't care. They're that good.
Jared, did you
Yeah.
have some like
At Flower and Garden, I got the Impossible Korean short rib.
Oh, that
Didn't
was
taste
so
like Korean
good.
short rib, but it was very good.
Oh
It
my
was
god, it
so
tasted like dog food.
there it is?
So good.
I mean, it's not Morimoto's ribs.
No. Let's be clear.
Y'all, there's a video on the YouTubes that I think is up from Flower and Garden that I literally could not eat it. I was like, this tastes like dog food.
Oh, is that when I remember that video. That's Meredith, we need more videos like that from you.
Yeah.
Those are hilarious. Your food reviews are just amazing.
Yeah.
Thing of beauty.
Well, they've got the noodle shop or noodle house,
Noodle Exchange.
noodle exchange now. Yeah, at the Food and Wine.
I say everything there is legit.
That is a winner. Probably some of the best value for your money on the World Showcase right now. And that's it, whether you're plant-based or not. I mean, they have like several dishes and they're all huge.
Yeah.
Mr. Kunkel, are you and Mrs. Kunkel inviting us to these
I was
two?
gonna say, how many people do you have in your reservation?
I hope you made this
sir?
reservation for like 12.
I think our immediate party is 9, so just please add on 9 people to that. Thanks.
I'll be expecting my
For us-
invitation in the mail.
For us,
I
our big celebration on Monday is after Dopey is drinking around the world,
nice.
and then we usually cap it off with going over to Kimonos for karaoke afterwards, which works out real well after everybody has had 11 countries worth of cocktails.
It's really the
Is
only way
it-
to do it.
This is dumb because
Best.
we stay in the Swan, this actually was Jared's first time in the Swan last time. Normally I stay at the Swan all the time because of Marriott points, which is helpful for Run Disney weekends, spending the money on expensive food instead. Does anyone know if Kimonos is doing karaoke right now?
That's a good question. I don't know.
We could make our own karaoke. I want to
You
Sam.
could.
Actually, I have one, so let's ship it with her.
That's true.
Would it be only Disney songs?
Where is Kimonos? Am I missing something?
You know where you met us before the expo? Just take a right.
Yeah.
The Swans in
It's
the
in the
Swan.
Swan.
Okay, so that was my first time ever in the Swan. Was coming to see y'all. Or coming to get with y'all.
It's nice.
This one.
It doesn't have Disney magic, but you get.
Listen, I
points
just
for
have to
it.
be able to get in and out of my room in a magic band, okay?
I know that's the problem, but you can walk to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So
That's
There you
true.
go.
And we're in
Convenience.
kind of the same boat. We tend to gravitate towards Hilton properties, and we stay at the Bonnet Creek very often. And they roll out the red carpet for the race weekends. They do bus transportation from the hotel,
For
a
the
pre-race
half.
party, they projection on the side of the building, the whole 9 yards. And now the caveat to that is if anybody's looking at doing that for, say, marathon weekend, where the bus drops you off at Epcot.
Add on at least a mile to your rate.
Easy. It drops you off at, I believe it's stop 25, where the buses are
Way out there.
for the regular bus runs all day long. And you walk
Oh.
all the way across the property to where the race buses are.
And then
go
for
to-
those
to go start.
over to the start.
So that's the caveat. It's free, but there's difference between price and cost. I'll just say that.
Tack on your race tickets.
Yeah.
Well, how about anybody got any final thoughts on this 2021 Wine and Dine half marathon weekend?
I don't know. I would like to say thank you for putting up with us because we didn't only talk about the running, we did talk about the whining and the dining. So.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, my final thought is
Nothing
I'm
wrong with that.
hungry.
Yeah, great.
My thoughts are I need to know what the eating plan is, what the drinking plan is. I want to see. Are y'all going to be at marathon weekend?
We are. We're coming up.
I am in the app hard looking, and I change reservation plans a lot.
Yes, she does.
Oh, let's cancel this. Let's
At
book this.
4
Let's cancel this.
a.m.,
Let's book
she's
this.
telling
you all
me-
probably know this, but
I've made this change, and I'm like, I'm not awake
like,
yet.
we're
What are you
not on
talking
the
about?
we're not on that freaking challenge anymore for that marathon weekend. So let's have a ribeye.
And we want to meet up. So
And we want to, we can't wait to meet all of our friends that we have virtually gotten to know.
Mhm. Are we friends now? Can we be friends?
absolutely.
New friends.
I'll be in the very, very back of the corral for the 10K, the very last start wave, whatever.
I'm honest about my pace on the honor system. when they ask you how slow you are, and so I will also be there.
I'm like, here, it's the maximum. We have shirts for our show that say, I'm not slow. And on the back, it says we make the most of the race entry fee. And that's the truth.
Wait, I think I must have saw you because I saw somebody ahead of me had that shirt on during the 10K.
That was me or
That's
her.
us.
That was us.
Oh,
Yeah.
You can always tell me I've got a kilt. I run in a kilt
Yeah.
every race. So I mean, if you find that the guy running with one of our shirts and a kilt, that's me.
It's
And
him.
I'm usually the cameraman too. If we're shooting video for that particular one, we were not in this one.
No.
We didn't want to take a chance on getting the gimbal soaked because
In
of
the
the
rain. Yeah.
conditions. But
awesome.
Yeah. So we look forward to running, eating, and drinking.
she said
With
drinking twice.
With all of you.
I will be there for all of it.
Jared, what are your final thoughts?
I think it was good. I think you two described it in one word the best in your last episode, the podcast, as it was like a homecoming. So it was like getting back to a routine of having to happen to run while you're at Disney World. So it'll be good. Wine and Dine was a nice forced training run for people like me who are registered for Dopey. Who knows? 13 may be my longest training run for Dopey. Not that I'm endorsing anything like that. But
When my physical therapist looked me dead in the eye the other day and said, "You are aware that you may have done your last long run before your first marathon last weekend, right?" And I was like, say more. Say more. He was like, I know you can do it, but you may not be able to be weight bearing before Christmas. And I was like,
Wow.
Cool. So I'm running on an anti-gravity treadmill. If you're not familiar with those, look it up. You get to wear this fancy pair of underwear that blow up in front of everybody. Yeah. So, but it's going to be great.
Any other person I would be worried about, and I'm sad you have to go through this, but like any other person, I'd be like, oh no, but I'm like, oh no, she's gonna be like crossing the finish line with a turkey leg or a cookie and a
Listen,
beer.
I just want Jiggly Dopey. That medal with Dopey Jiggly is hysterical to me because it's what I feel. Like it is what I feel in my soul. So
she's got it.
Thank you, Ryan, for having us.
Yes. Well, thank
Ryan,
you all
thank
for
you.
joining me. It was a lot of fun, and I hope
Great
we
to hang
maybe
out.
can do this again sometime. But yeah, so yeah, that's our recap of Wine and Dine 2021. Hopefully, we get to see everybody here and anybody watching at Marathon Weekend 2022. Thanks for joining in, and we'll see you all next time.
Good night.
Night.